Hello, my friends. Thanks for watching. My name's Sandy, and this video is going to be my nest of winter cards. There's 10 cards altogether. 3 of them are shakers. Whoop. So they're going to have fun little things inside that we can shake. And your kit's already done for you. I do have one kit left. So if you want one of these, be sure to let me know. Each kit has a different roll in it of the string. So if you came to the in-person class, I'm sure you had a ball. I got great comments from everybody about that. So at the in-person class, we just put all the ribbons on the table and everybody shared. But because you're at home, you're going to have just one of these rolls of ribbon in your kit. And we're going to jump right in. So I want you to start by taking this little plastic. It's clear, so it's hard to see. One side of it has a protective coating on it, so pull that off and pull just the protective coating of the outer rim of the foam off. So you're leaving all of the foam there. This is just that teeny thin, crinkly up piece. And put this right on top. I know it's going to seem kind of weird that I'm having you do that, but I don't want you to lose that plastic piece. So we're just starting that portion now. And then once you've done that, you can set that aside. You've got these pieces here. I want you to pop both of those out. So we're going to use both of these pieces, and we're also going to use both of these pieces. I want you to figure out which one of the outer frames you like the best. I did the best I could, but they're not all perfect. Oh, these both are. Nice. So that one of these is going to be our first card. So you actually take that and just slip it right into that first envelope with those other things. You have 2 pieces of paper. You are going to use, if you're working from home, whatever bird stamp makes you happy. Okay. So I'm using the Winterly Treetops. And the great thing about the Winterly Treetops is the stamps are adorable, right? These birds are absolutely adorable, but these die cuts fit perfectly on the stamps. So I went ahead and stamped one of the double bird and 2 of the single birds and used these die cuts and boom, cut them right out for myself. If you came to the in-person class, you're welcome. I helped you along with that part. Okay, so these are the only stamps that I used for this. However, I'm going to make birthday cards, so I'm going to do mine just a little bit different as far as the stamping goes. I'm also not going to spend time coloring because you all know how to color, right? So you don't need me to color for you. So take all 10 of your card bases, fold them in half, and we're going to jump right into our first card. So our first envelope has 2 glittery black pieces, a clear plastic film, and this green piece. The first thing I want you to do is lay that green right down where you're going to be taping it eventually. And I want you to stamp your image on the front of your card first. So again, I'm using birthday wishes, whatever you want your cards to be. It was funny when we were doing class, they had me hopping. I was grabbing all sorts of stamps so that we could make it work with what they wanted to do. That's the nice thing about coming in person. But sometimes that's not an option, right? Okay, so birthday wishes or whatever you're going to do. Next step is we're going to take adhesive and run our tape around the back of this green piece and then put our plastic right on that. And if it doesn't line up perfectly, you may have to use your scissors and do just a little bit of trimming. I've got to do a little bit of trimming along the edge of mine. So I've done 2 things during the downtime there. I added some gems from my stash. And again, if you came in person, you got to see all of my fabulous bling and use whatever you want. And I ran 3D tape. So you're going to use your lines or your tape, whatever it is that it's foam, so it's thick, so that these things can shake inside there. And I just ran it all the way around the back side of that frame. So I've got my goodies, it's stamped. I'm going to pull the backing off of that foam. And then I'm actually going to turn this so that the fold is close to my face, because that's a little easier for me to line up, because that's what I want to line up is the top of this card, right like that. Now, if you want, you can go through and tape down some of these little green ferns. Kind of fun having them just kind of float there too. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is use my scissors, and I'm cutting off along the edge where the white is still showing on the card. So the front of the card is going to be a little bit shorter than the inside of the card, the back. And I'm going to run this glitter right along the bottom of the inside of the card. So that just peeks a little bit through there. Then we're going to add our black heart. Make sure you're not covering up any of the words that you want on there. And then you're going to color this as you like. I used markers, but you can use colored pencils or watercoloring, whatever you want to do. Add that little guy there, and that card is done. So here are the pieces for our next card. And the first thing we're going to do is take the inside, and we're going to use it as a stencil. I've loaded up my blending brush with some gray ink, and I'm going to line up my stencil here and just do some brushing over top of that. So now when we pull this close, you can see we've got some gray, fun little sprigs showing up. Okay, so there's that one. You're going to do the same thing to this piece here. So I've added both of those gray pieces to my card where the more inked side is on the inner portion and the less inked side is on the outside. Now I've taken one side here and pinched and ripped. So I'm just grabbing with 2 fingers on this side and holding it firm with the 2 fingers on this side and just pinch and pull all the way down to give yourself a ripped edge. And then this piece is going to go right on here. Now you may be looking at this beautiful bird and wondering, where did that bird come from that's already done for you in your kit? I've taken those same 2 die cuts that I showed you earlier that created these, and they perfectly cut out these same birds on this page. So I went ahead and cut all the birds that I could out of each of these pages so that I could make those for you. Mwah. I know, isn't that awesome? Okay, so we're going to now stamp in our circle, and I think it's best if you put that black piece down just so you know exactly how much space you really have to work with. So best wish or birthday wishes will fit in there. Grab my black ink again. I love using this glass mat. Now, I did some brushing on it earlier and then just wiped it up real easy. It is easy to stamp on because it's got a little bit of give to it under there, so you don't have to worry. So it works for those of you that were with Close to My Heart previously. It's like having the Versa mat and the all-purpose mat all in one. It's like one-shot deal. So I am super, super loving it. All right, so now I'm going to glue this piece Same thing here with the glue. If I get any glue on here, it just rubs right off. I'm going to put that around the edge of my circle. Nice firm press there. And then I'm going to put my little gemmy guys right in the middle of this circle. Oh, something fun that we could do to add a little extra layer. I'm going to use Lagoon ink, some kind of bluish, right? So whether you use Glacier or whatever color you're using, I'm just going to put a little bit of color right on that circle. Okay, then my gems, not too many because you don't want to cover up your words. That would be sad. It would be so sad if we covered up our words. Okay, hold it there. I'm going to pull some of these out. All right, make sure they're flat so that it all shakes real nice, but you don't want it too close to the edge because you don't want it to go underneath our shaker rim, the outer portion there. Okay. So what we're going to do now is I want you to peel just a little bit of that backing off and kind of pull around the edge. What we're looking for is you want all of that outer rim to stay attached to the piece that's got the black on there. And all these teeny little pieces we want to stay on that backing the best we can. And if any come off, that's okay. But you don't want any to be in there because you'll see them through your shaker window. Then this goes right on there. If you're not perfect with your circle, you can just use your scissors to fix it up a little bit. Press nice and firm around the edges. And then we're going to attach this, but I'm not going to put adhesive all the way to the edges because I want to be able to add my little ferns and things in there. So we've got our circle. Now we've got one more frame that we haven't used yet. First thing I want you to do is pick a side, it doesn't really matter which, and I want you to make a straight line so that you've got one of these. Ooh, get these little pieces, keep them attached over here. Okay, so we've got this strip right here. We're going to use this on a card later, so set that aside. And now I want one little sprig down here, two over here, and a section there. So I'm just going to go through and go, okay, I'm going to take these to go down here, and then a group of three kind of clustered up here. So we'll use this guy. That's going to go up there. And then I want one little guy down here. So I'll use this one. I'm just cutting off the extras, and then I can add my adhesive and just gently slide that underneath. You don't want to see any of the frame, like the straight part around there. You want that to all be tucked underneath the circle. You should be able to just go through and add these fun little sprigs. Isn't that a great way to use that little frame? Now save all the rest because we're going to use some more of those pieces later. All right, and then this one, I'm not going too close because my bird's going to cover up a lot of that. So I've taken a little bit of that string, whichever string you've got, and I'm just wrapping it around a couple of fingers there. And then I'm going to use a glue dot to hold it right where that bird's head's going to go. Let's take a little glue dot here. Nice big fat guy, because then I can wrap it around and then stick it right here. Some string going up, some string going down. You know, birds always have these crazy, monstrous sets of string floating around with them. So that's all we're creating there. Then I'm going to use from that circle, all these great little pieces now can be used as pop dots. We need a pop dot right near his belly. So I'm going to put it right here because that's what I want to cover up. It's also going to help hold my string in place. And then I know right where my bird's going to go. Boom. And I see here, I kind of want to lift his hiney a little bit. So I'm going to use one of the corner pieces from here and put that right under here to hold that in place. Now, the only other thing that I did to finish off that adorable little card is I used my white gel pen and did dot dashes along the top and the bottom of our fun and fabulous shaker card. Yay! Let's do our next one. This next one's the last shaker for this group of cards. So here what I've done is I just took my circle piece that has the circle already punched out and I lined it up here so that I knew where I wanted that to go. Excuse me. Now I'm going to put that plastic piece that's in this one right on the back here. So that takes care of that part. And then we want to kind of close this up. We're just putting our foam along the edge there. But then we also want some foam. Make sure that's closed so none of your goodies fall out. I'm also going to take some of these squares that I have from earlier and just put them kind of around because you don't want the middle of it or the edges of it to be sagging while the corner is all popped up. So this is just going to keep the whole thing popped for us. We are going to add whatever little doodads we want and not many because it's a very small shaker. And we want to still be able to see our words. I do want a couple of those blues though. Some of these. And keep that all toward the middle. So that we can add. Right now we're just going to do this piece. And get that attached. I wasn't great at it, so I'm going to need to trim just a little bit. With a nice firm press. Then this part needs tape. Pull the backing off of these little guys. Here's the front of our card. And then that shakes. Then I just took this piece here, put adhesive at the ends. Then I'm going to use my string and put them on here diagonally. So I'm pressing and crossing over. Give a little press. Same thing here. Press on the back. Cross it over. And you may want to use a little bit of glue dot to make sure those strings stay in place. But what I did with this last piece is just wrapped that around these two right in here and put a knot in there. You do a double knot to keep it really stuck in place if you want, but I think it's fine just like that. Again, if you want to add some foam to make sure, or to glue dots, not foam, you can. And then I'm just putting that right down here at the bottom, covering up a little bit of those pussy willows, but not much. And then the last thing I did to finish this card off is used my black journaling pen and did little tiny dots around that circle. But that's it for that one. We can move on and no more shakers. That's it for our shakers. The rest of the cards are actually pretty simple to assemble. That's what I do, guys. I make this first one's kind of tricky so that we got all the hard work done and out of the way, and we can just relax and pull together all those ideas that we just learned, right? We learned ripping, we learned shaker cards, we learned using this piece to do some edging. A lot of things I threw at you, but you did awesome. All right, if you want this one, I tore down the side. If that makes you uncomfortable, you don't have to. You could just line it up and cut it off the edge there, if that makes you happier. Oh, before we go any further, you're going to run tape on the top and the bottom. I'm going to show you how we're going to do that ribbon. We can work around, now that I put tape on it. Actually, before we do that, let's go ahead and add this piece here. Right like that. This piece we're putting evenly at the top and the bottom, flush against the edge of the gray. Then that piece that we cut off earlier, this piece right here, that we're just going to run tape on, and that should line up evenly top and bottom on there. Yay. Okay. Then add your heart so that it kind of, that heart's going to kind of hold everything there together. Now with the ribbons, oh, I made a big old mess right there. With the ribbon, you need two pieces, one that's a little bit longer, one that's a little bit shorter. And we're actually attaching this to the same side. So you're going to put this one kind of like that. Oop, a little closer to the rip. Then this comes up like this, and this one's going to loop through it and get tacked on the back over here. So it's tacked on the back, and then I want this one to come down a little bit. There we go. I want it to, the knot to kind of fall on my heart there. Okay, now this piece, now that we've got our string on there, that piece can go on here. And I just want to, before I make a big old mess, I'm going to clean up my space with all that tape. So the only other things that I did to finish this off, I did use a little bit of the blue blending brush and just added a little bit of blue behind that heart. Stamped the word thanks, and then I did dashes along the gray piece and a double journal line in black on 3 sides of the blue. Totally up to you if you want to go through that process to finish it off. A fun way to color the bird is also using the blending brush if you wanted to blend him. Fun, right? Let's do our next one. So the gray piece goes on the card front. And then I've already gone through and torn these 2 pieces. You decide if you won't like the torn look, do it. If you don't like it, don't do it. You won't hurt my feelings. All right, so we're going to add those 2 pieces with a gap. I did use the dashes around the edge just with my white journal pen and did dashes all the way around the edge of the gray. Up to you if you want to do that part. But it's actually simple to finish this one up. We've got a black circle with glitter. Stamp your words. So let me get something on there. Will happy birthday fit? It will. Well, hey. It's harder to stamp this one after I've got the glitter underneath there. Stamped. Pardon me if you can see the top of my head. All right, happy birthday. Add that one. I also did little black dots around the edge of that. I'll bring that close so you can see in a second. I'm going to add some of that foam from our shaker earlier to the back of this circle. And before I get that circle all the way on there, I'm just going to take some of this ribbon and I'm going to wrap it around 3 fingers a couple of times and then add my glue dot to the middle-ish. And then I'm just going to put that piece right kind of in the middle. So we've got string going every which way. And then this circle's going to go on there, kind of covering up where all that overlaps. Then you can cut down your string if you want. Monkey with it as much as you need to. Okay, and then we've got whatever leftovers you've got from this green that we cut earlier. You're going to go tucking with that. Get in there and just tuck. So you saw I just shortened that up a little bit because I wanted to make sure it would go underneath there. And then I want one down in this corner and coming out from the black. Got a little teeny tiny piece left right here. It's going to be part of that cluster. Isn't that fun? Yay. Let's do another. So the Pussy Willow piece gets just taped to the front of the card. I'm going to go ahead and adhere this now. You can stamp it first or tape it down first. I'm going to stamp it later, so I'll figure I'll just put it right down. I want this white piece to go all the way in the corner, right? So we want to cover up that whole corner, but you also want this point up here to come off the page. Once you're sure you're happy with it, just give a press, and then this glitter piece is going to go right underneath that. And it's so cool the way when you're done trimming off the edges, the way this corner enhances based on how it all falls. Just love those little tricks. Right? Isn't that cool? Yay. So this one, you're going to color that bird with whatever you want to color it with. Right? And then I have it kind of coming right off the edge. Stamp whatever you want to stamp. And I took the ribbon and just made a bow and used a little glue dot behind there to attach the bow. Easy peasy. So with this one, I've added those 2 first pieces down there, and now I'm going to add this upside down, right? That's my green piece, but I'm going to put it upside down, and I'm not taping it. I'm just placing it. That way I have an idea of, oh wait, is that where I wanted it? Oh no, I want it here. There we go. So like this. That way I know where I kind of want these to land, right? I'm gonna go with these because I want it to come way up. Now I can move this, or you can leave it there so you know where your guideline is. Let's go from there, and I'm gonna put some here. Then also, if you wanted to, you could have a couple coming up, you know, from the side. So maybe I'll have this one. And you always want to have it, it looks kind of almost like it's hanging off the edge, right? Yeah. I'm gonna do one right up in here. There we go. Now I can add this piece. And we've got those fun little sprigs everywhere. Now here I just took the string, wrapped it around my hand a couple of times, to make it go all different ways. Put a glue dot in the middle, stamp whatever sentiment you want, add those birds that are in your kit that I already cut for you. And then again, just a little extra, I did a double journal line around the edge of that card. Easy peasy. With this one, we're starting by adding that piece to the center of the card. So you've got a frame all the way around the edge. Then we're going to add this white birch piece, followed by the glitter. Get those all in there. Then we've got this green striped piece. You decide. I have my stripes going horizontally, but you certainly could make it kind of go any which way you want. That works too. Now with this, what I did was we're going to be popping the bird. So put foam tape on that bird. But before I tape it down, I'm going to add my string, and that foam tape is going to help keep the string in place. My bird, I want to make sure my bird's going left and right, and I want my string to kind of go cockeyed there. Loopy, down here, it's loopy. And the nice thing is if you flip it over and you're like, I really wanted a little more, you just add a little more. I think that's pretty good. All right, so now I'm going to add this to that gray piece that has the fun edging to it. This piece gets taped down. I'm going to trim this just a little bit. Yeah, so if you're like, I want a little more string over here, go for it. You got the string. And you can just stuck a little, if you put a little bit of a glue dot at the edge of the string and just tuck it underneath, you'll never even know. Stamp whatever sentiment, and then I used the black gel or journaling pen and did a double journal line around the edge of just that bluish piece. Fun. All right, with this one, first thing we're going to do is put a little bit of tape toward the bottom, and we're going to put our strings on there. And this is one of those ones where it goes on the same side and loops forward, and then we're going to take the other string, put it through the middle, and drag it over, and then tack that down on the back. Now that that's done, you can go ahead and tape the rest of that down. I just want a little more tape near the string, make sure that's not going anywhere. Oh, and I want to move my string down a little bit. I'm losing my bird. Take both of those and move them down a little bit. Oh, there's my bird. Hi, guy. All right. Crazy easy, right? Now just put that heart. You don't want to cover up the bird's wing so it falls pretty easily. Stamp whatever sentiment you want. That you're going to 3D pop up. And I have it flushed to the edge. So you got it. You want to make sure you don't cover up any of that bird. Or you could even put this right down there if you want. But that's it for that one. And we are now on our very last card. And as you can see, this one's pretty stinking easy too. All right, so we're going to again go through and just rip the edges. This time we're ripping the edges of both the glitter paper. I'm going to do a little bit of a deeper rip on that one. And then ripping that pinkish piece. We are going to run glitter tape near the fold on there. And then you just want to line these up so that you can see both. We're going to run tape all the way on the back of that, but make sure you've got good tape along the edge too. And then here, I'm going to just put a piece of this string right along the edge there, tack it down on the back. That's all right. And then once I get this all tacked down, I'm just going to add a little knot to the edge. So let's tape this piece down right there. Then this one overlaps that just a smidgen. You've got space there for your words. I'm going to use a little bit of my foam to pop up this heart. So room for that. And then again, I'm just going to take a little bit of string and just add a little knot right there to finish that off. That is my Nests of Winter 10 card workshop. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned a little something. Please comment. And again, I've got one kit left. Let me know if your name's going on it. Thanks for watching, friends.